The year is 2004. In the dead of a Canadian winter, I was sick with a cold, and I needed some hot soup to make me feel better. I called all the restaurants in my immediate neighborhood and offered to pay for delivery. But when I was turned down, it made me realize that there was an opportunity for a business here. That was the birth of my startup called Dial to Dine back in 2005. I grew the business as an opportunity in a time before smartphones to deliver food as a partner, as a third-party partner to restaurants. I grew the business for 5 years, and then I sold it to a larger player who had entered the Canadian markets. And shortly after that, I moved back to Nigeria. That lightning in a bottle moment, while it may seem like it was just yesterday for me, it was almost 2 decades ago. After my move to Nigeria, I spent over the next decade working in the real sector, which means factories, industries, and in my time there, I was able to identify opportunities that in time have proven me right about the way the markets moved. I was quick to recognize the value addition in the agri chain. I recognized the value in recycling as early as 2014. 2016, I bet on solar becoming the next big thing, and that is a case study in being too early to a market, but I finally ended my stint with FMCG, which still remains bulletproof. All this goes to say one thing, that these opportunities that I'm able to identify in these markets is not a mystical quality. It is based on hard data, it is based on facts, and it is based on interpretation of how we see things come together. That is the data that I will now share with you, but with a caveat. I'm not always right. My wife likes to remind me that I'm not. That's the voice in my head that keeps me grounded. But more often than not, I have been right, and I'm grateful for that. So let's get into the numbers, and then we'll talk about what they mean. Nigeria's population, since 1981 till now, has tripled and is expected to double over the next 26 years. This information basically means that we will be the third largest population in the world in a landmass that is just slightly larger than the size of Texas. When the rest of the world is growing at 0.88%, Nigeria is clocking 3%. My first thought when I heard this statistic is that, oh my God, everywhere is going to get really, really crowded. Followed by, what a wonderful opportunity this is. But Nigeria's rise is not only just about its population growth. It's also about connectivity. Last year, we had over 55% of our population connected to the internet. 87% of our entire population is connected to cellular. This is an amazing feature. In a population that is getting younger every generation, to be connected to the internet and to have cellular connectivity just creates endless opportunities. Now, this is not just happening in Nigeria. This is also happening across the continent. Imagine a world in the next 26 years where 1 in 4 people you meet is African. This is going to be the fact of where we exist. 60% of that population is going to be below the ages of 26. Some of them are not even born yet. And this means that this is a uniquely young generation that is suited to leverage technology for their own purposes. But perhaps the most exciting statistic to me personally is that entrepreneurship as a career path worldwide, the highest level is in Asia, which is 13%. Only Africa supersedes that, and the numbers almost double at 22%. In a market space of $3.1 trillion GDP combined for Africa as of last year, this is a phenomenal opportunity. So this is what the data says, but what does it mean? What does it translate to? The way I read it is you take a young generation that has an entrepreneurial skill set or a mindset. And oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this. While I averaged out the ratios for Africa at 22%, here in our home, entrepreneurship clocks at 40%. That's a very high number. All right, so getting back to my stats, what does it mean? If you take the youngest generation with internet connectivity, with an entrepreneurial mindset, in a 3.1 trillion economy, this shows like this is the largest growth market in the next 25 years. That's how I interpret this data. The future, this is where the challenge is, the future belongs to those who build today. That is the most important thing. I'm fond of asking people this question all the time. When did Noah build the ark? And the right answer is, before it rained. So, using that same analogy, I can tell you that as I stand here, I see a flood of opportunities heading towards us in what seems to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I sense a little skepticism in the crowd. It's like some of you are still not fully convinced, so let me try this approach. Would it surprise you to know that Nigeria today has one of the best bank-to-bank transfer systems anywhere in the world? In America, Europe, Canada, bank-to-bank transfers still take 1 business day. Over here, when I'm making my payment, the person across me is like, Oga, your Allah done dropo. That's the magic of an infrastructure that was built by renegades, by pathfinders, by visionaries almost a decade ago. At that time, they couldn't have conceived that all the fintech success we talk about in our space today is going to be built off the back of that infrastructure that they created then. This is the obligation for everyone attending this talk, that we have to understand what we do today impacts the future. There is some phenomenal startups that are being built in our space today. Some that I am personally convinced will change the landscape. Let me give you a few examples. There is a startup that is looking to privatize emergency services. Just like ordering an Uber, you can go to your phone and you can order an ambulance and track the ambulance heading towards you in those crucial moments when you're caring for somebody that is in need. There is another startup that provides healthcare services to aging parents whose children are based in the diaspora. For a monthly fee, a healthcare professional will show up to your house, check on your parents, run some tests, and post that medical update on an app that can be viewed anywhere in the world. There is an AI company that is setting up a local dialect customer service solution. There is a drone company that delivers blood to the remotest areas of Nigeria. There is a solar power company that provides off-grid solution to farmers. The opportunities are endless, and the minds working on them are absolutely relentless. I am betting my future by staying here and helping those that build. I'm strongly urging you to do the same. Thank you.